Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the Junior Africa Cup, Windhoek, Namibia. We're at the Dave and Trusco Hockey Stadium, and we're here for the final of the Junior Africa Cup, the men's final, South Africa versus Namibia. The players are lining up, getting ready to go and sing the national anthems. I'm Trevor Cormack, your commentator, and my co-presenter is...
Thanks for having me, Trevor.
Yeah, Pence, exciting game.
It was not shy the first time around. South Africa dominated the Namibians, but I think this is going to be a bit of a grudge match, bragging rights.
The two best teams in Africa are going onto the field right now. South Africa have the edge with that pool win, 8-0 versus Namibia.
Absolutely. I don't know if the spectators could hear. Made a rookie mistake there, but once again, my name is Pendapala Namjebo. Thanks for having me, Trevor. The South Africans are definitely not going to be shy. They're going to come all guns blazing. They have all the artillery in their cannons, and let's see what the Namibians can bring.
Yeah, so first pool game went in favor of Namibia, and I'm sure, in favor of South Africa. I'm sure they'll be looking to make amends in the final.
Absolutely, and in the end, Trevor, the pool games mean nothing. They mean absolutely nothing if Namibia edges out South Africa in this first and second playoff.
Yeah. So the players are running onto the halfway line. South Africa on the left with the green kit, green and yellow, green and gold, and on your right is Namibia in the white and blue. They'll be. We'll join you after the national anthems.
Yeah.
So the national anthems are done. Teams are shaking each other's hand, eyeing each other out before the final.
Oh, the energy. The spectators are ready. The fans are ready. The players are ready. Are you ready, Trevor?
I'm ready, Pins. I've been waiting for this game the whole 2 weeks.
Look at that. Look at what it means for those South African boys. Look at what it means for the Namibian boys. They are ready to go.
So, South African lineup, key players must be Jaden Brooker, top goal scorer of the tournament so far. The goalkeeper Ruben Senzel has conceded 2 goals this tournament.
Look, Ruben Senzel plays his hockey in the Netherlands. He's actually one of their defensive players, but definitely Jaden Brooker, difficult player to look out for. And
the Namibia lineup, Rylan Bombosh and Lyle Brace both have performed extremely well. Key players has to be Mr. Andura, Giovanni, he's really stood out in this tournament, Christian Duran, and of course Captain JP Brits has led the pack from the front.
Yeah, look, I found them to be one of the standout players as well. In fact, that's what I've written in my journal here. Dangerous players for Namibia. Giovanni Andura has been exemplary in terms of his performance.
The road to the final, Penda, has been a one-way traffic for South Africa, even against Namibia, 8-0 game. Namibia has also, in their own rights, really played well this tournament. The only game that they succumbed to was to South Africa.
Trevor, I've been speaking to some of the spectators, coaches, and they said the surprising team of this tournament has to be Namibia. You know, what a huge testament to our coaches and our players for them to be a standout outfit.
Well, this is going to be a game of the tournament, I'm sure, and we're waiting for the pushback. Namibia will have the ball to start. Namibia in the white and blue on the left-hand side, and on your right-hand side in the green and gold is South Africa.
Absolutely. Let's wait to see. They will not be goal shy here, Trevor. Let's see what they have there. Christian Duran for Namibia, one of the game changers that Namibia might have. And in the background there you can see Jaden Brooker and their captain, Dan Neuhoff.
Yeah, both teams have these really good key players, Penda, and it's a game tonight of the game changer who stands out.
Absolutely. One thing that works in South Africa's favor is their experience. They've got Lita Cry, who has represented South Africa, bronze medalist from the Indoor World Cup. So, of course, and once again, on the screen, Ruben Senzo plays his hockey at HDM in Holland.
So, to the viewers that are joining us, we're waiting for the pushback. Namibia will take the push. You are watching the Junior Africa Cup final here in Windhoek, Namibia. And you're broadcasting it live on NBC TV. Thanks to them, Penda, bringing this whole tournament to the screen so that viewers back home that can't make the game, as well as those back home in Africa, were able to watch.
Absolutely. And here we go. The game's underway.
So Namibia not holding back, taking the fight to South Africa. South Africa managed to turn the ball over, and once again they trough it to their key hunchman, anchorman at the back, Dan Denbakker. He's really had a good tournament.
I feel so. We were just discussing it earlier. It's so difficult when you've got such a critical defender. You know, when you're so dominant, the defenders don't get the credit that they deserve, but Dan Denbakker has been fantastic. And on your screen there was just the umpires for today. Salim Hatam from Egypt and Menashe Mashoko from Zimbabwe.
Umpiring in this tournament, Penda, has been exceptionally of a high level. And I've been very impressed with it. So I think the two best umpires are out there, and hopefully they can keep the game under control.
Absolutely. I might be biased here, but I think that Siyabonga Martin and Peter Calder have also been absolutely fantastic. But of course, their host nations or their nations playing here, so
they were unable to blow the final. So South Africa doing what they do well, just troughing the ball patiently at the back, going down the right flank. But a good interception from JP Brits, the Namibian captain, once again, showing that he's hungry for this game, Peter.
Yeah, look, it's even just a different energy from the Namibians. I thought that their first game against South Africa, that 8-0 defeat, was a bit tamed from the Namibians, but they're definitely not shying away from this game just yet.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what happens in the pools. You go out to qualify, which they've done, and then the final is always a different animal, Pender.
Absolutely. Bragging rights, Trevor. Bragging rights at stake. Not just the championship, but of course you'd always want to have that one up against your neighbors, isn't it?
So the temperature 23 degrees out there on a really steamy night, but it's such nice weather, clear skies, a great evening to play hockey.
It's a beautiful hockey, and for all our viewers there, the local time is 2 minutes past 7, and the players are ready for this.
So again, South Africa just troughing the ball at the back with their 3 back, looking for their midfielders, their pivot players, but still opting to go down the flank.
Yeah, a lot of movement, Trevor, coming from the front line. You know, a lot of their strikers just running around and trying to find a weakness, trying to find an opening.
There's the pivot player, Damian Mott. He gets the ball into the circle. It's a little bit of chaos, but Namibia managed to turn it over, and off they go on the break.
It was a dangerous circle entry there for the South Africans, but luckily the Namibians just resolute in their defending. I mean, just some more credit for the Namibian defenders. Sean Irwin has been one of the surprise players for me. I wasn't too familiar with his game, but he's been absolutely standout for the Namibians.
And notwithstanding, this is his first international tournament. So Sean troughing the ball wide to Tommy Taron. He goes down the middle. It's turnover by Damian Knott, and Damian opts to chuck it back to his safe 3 at the back, who'll just slam it through the middle. Crash ball down the middle, turned over by Namibia, and off goes the Mayberg.
Oh, that's a poor pass from the Namibian there, Trevor.
Yeah, double turnovers aren't my friend, Pender.
And you're certain that these players go through that training. You know, once you turn over, there's a game plan of what your plans are.
Yeah.
You know, what you have to do with that ball, and to turn it back to the opposition is definitely not part of it.
But it's the first 5 minutes of the game. I think both teams will be feeling each other out a little bit again, and seeing where they can break the ice.
Absolutely. A final is definitely different energy from a pool game.
South Africa putting a lot of pressure on Namibia, trying to turn it over. Namibia not conceding, playing it down the flank into the pockets. It's a great ball by Giovanni, but once again turned over by SA's Dan Denbakker. First time I've seen Dan go on a run on his own.
Look, and he has been very crucial, and Lita now leading the attack of South Africa.
2v1, and there's the opening goal, Pender. What a goal. What a finish.
Is that man Ruben Senzel just telling the crowd, calm down. There's nothing to be excited about. Look at that. What a run there by Dan Denbakker.
You know, Pender, everybody's been questioning South Africa's ability on scoring field goals. Because Jaden Brocker has just been awesome. He's been putting those. Everybody's been telling me that all they're doing is forcing shorties. Well, why not when you've got a guy like him? But yeah, they are proving that they can score field goals.
Absolutely, and it just goes to show even the experience. Senzel didn't panic. He was in the circle and an easy slap shot into the pocket, and that's just a lesson out there for all the juniors. You don't have to swing and hit every ball in the circle. Take your time and go for the one that will get you that goal.
So to the viewers watching, just under 10 minutes to go. RSA lead Namibia 1-0. So in these situations, Pender, the opposing team now that has conceded, it's all about keeping the pressure on but not doing anything silly.
Absolutely. You don't want to concede a third and a fourth, because then the game becomes very difficult to catch up to. And we've seen in the previous game, South Africa versus Namibia, where initially they were in it, but as soon as those goals start tallying up, it becomes a lot more difficult to get back into the game. So correct call there, Trevor.
Yeah. So you can see South Africa's blood is boiling. They are not going to hold back and be patient. They really are going to put the pressure on Namibia. They're now in the Namibian half. And again, just waiting for the space for them to find their henchmen up there in the circle.
Absolutely, not just dominating possession of the ball, but also in terms of the territory. Deep into the Namibian territory there. But Namibia now with a break.
Owen Hatton going for the run, broken down. Owen's also had a really stormer of a tournament, Penda.
He has been brilliant, Trevor. I did say against that game against Egypt, he can find the goals with his eyes closed. Owen Hatton has been a workhorse. I love his work ethic. I've seen him play around. I mean, I've seen him play for your outfits, and he is a workhorse. He will chase down every ball.
He can run all day. So again, small little mistakes on the Namibian part, giving the ball or possession back to South Africa. We need to retain that ball and try get some sort of outcome from it. You know, we haven't got into their deep half yet. So yeah, we need to get that break and see what comes out of it.
Absolutely.
So for the viewers that might have just joined us, Junior Africa Cup men's final here in Windhoek, Namibia, broadcast by NBC Live. South Africa are leading 1-0.
It's a huge overhead into the Namibian territory, unable to control it there. Looked like Jamie Seal on the ball, and he was just unable to trap it.
I don't see major tactical change on the South African half, Pender. It seems like they've stuck to this game plan the whole tournament. Don't change what's not broken. And again, it's just I just think the tempo has been raised to a different level tonight.
Look, South African demonstrating their experience here in terms of being able to manage either the pace or the intensity of the game, and they've been doing that very well across the tournament. They either speed it up or slow it down, and that is very confusing as a defending player, I'll tell you that, Trevor.
So Namibia have the ball, trying to trough it to the right-hand side, go down the right flank, but once again South Africa turn over and play it back to the anchor man, Dan Bakker. Big shout out to Dan's parents, Bronwyn and Brent Dan Bakker. They must be so excited and so happy with their son's performance back home.
He has been brilliant. Oh, look, Namibia with a counter-attack. And I did always say, you know, in a tournament like this where you're so dominant as a defensive player, and even unfortunately for the South African goalkeeper, you don't get to showcase your talents. But Dan Bakker, such a cool customer there, you know.
Yeah, he's done not much wrong in this tournament.
No, he's unfaultable.
That's what you're looking for your anchor man, you know.
Absolutely.
In indoor, we call that the conductor. And he's just creating beautiful orchestral music with the team in front of him.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. And his risk assessment in terms of how he manages the ball has been so good. He knows how to play which certain passes get the highest outcome. So, yeah.
Anyway, so Namibia, again, turning the ball over, our youngest player, Ludi van Rooyen. But once again, just, making contact with the South Africans, and they're just stealing the ball and winning it back again.
Yeah, look, in zone 2, you want minimal to no risk. And unfortunately, Ludi just getting caught on the ball there.
So Sean Owen on the ball, he'll be looking to trough it, the South African, not 3 yards.
Yeah, that was ill discipline from the South African there, and the umpire should probably rule that out early, right?
So the statistics, 1 shot for South Africa and 1 shot on goal, creating the 1-0 lead that they have.
1 shot, bang. The devil is in the detail, Trevor.
That's the statistics any happy coach will be looking for, Pender. 1 from 1. Possession, South Africa definitely just getting the upper hand over Namibia, and they just really are not panicking. They're being patient with what they do, and they seem to have the upper edge on the emotional aspect of the game.
Absolutely, but let us not rule out this Namibian outfit too early. They've got great support in the stands here, and you know that they can bring the magic, especially through their captain, JP Britt. Did he sprint? Did he sprint a bit too late there, Ludie van Rooyen?
I think he thought he could make it, Ben. So
He thought he was Trevor Cormack.
thank you. So Captain Jaden Brooker on the ball, back to anchorman Dan Den Bakker, playing it wide, down the left flank, and turned over by JAC.
Yeah.
A bit of an infringement. South Africa get the ball back. Trough it to the right-hand side. Maybe there's a bit of daylight that side.
Look, surprisingly enough, in the first game, South Africa really hounded that right-hand side of Namibia. Let's see if they will change the tactic. Will they keep going down the right, or will they alternate?
Well, there's an overhead down the right, and they seem comfortable. That's where the goal came from.
Absolutely.
But off they go, and a free hit just outside, hitting the Namibian foot. The viewers may not hear it, but the coaches are really shouting the odds from the dugout, Pender.
Look, Trevor, in the end, as a coach, you want to put the game to bed early. That will definitely release some of the pressure from the defensive unit. But of course, in hockey, anything can happen. We were just discussing how a game turned in the matter of minutes. So the coach definitely wants to make sure that they can put this game to bed as early as possible.
So South Africa there still looking for that right flank overhead. Once again they pick it up, but Namibia are holding that corner and just forcing the South Africans back again.
Apart from the goal, Trevor, I feel the Namibian outfit has been defensively disciplined. They've been tracking those runs left to right, and it's not an easy job against a South African team like that.
Commentators curse, Pender. Commentators curse. It's a short corner to South Africa.
It's a short corner. The ball shifted just too quickly. Player still had his stick up, and that's the problem, right? And that's probably what you can see why South Africa are troughing that, because as the players are moving, their sticks are probably up and not protecting their feet, and then just looking for that weakness.
So a crash ball down the middle, they've been looking for that, and I think there's always that opportunity that the opposition will infringe, and pay it off for them in this thing. So
Caroline Mantul with a push out here, Trevor, and guess who is at the top of this castle? What can they do?
my money's on the captain.
Great running.
Great running. Straight down the line, putting body on the line. That's what you want to see at this level, Pender.
Absolutely.
In a final, you want to see your men putting their body on the line, and there's the Namibians once again.
Absolutely.
Running down the top goal scorer of the tournament. Oh my goodness, Pender.
He's a unit.
There's no solution to this man's ability on that drag flick.
He is a unit. You know, I was always asking myself, how do they replace a player like Justin Reid-Ross? And it might just be that man there, Jaden Brooker.
There it is, a beautiful roundhouse drag flick, going low and finding the back of the boards, Penna. Jaden Brooker once again, 2-0 to South Africa.
Look, Trevor, the crazy and most difficult thing for goalkeepers nowadays is that the drag flickers have been able to vary going high or low, and it's so difficult to predict where that ball is coming.
Absolutely.
So Bombosh, they're probably just anticipating a high flick, but going straight down the middle, flat, and 1-0 South Africa.
Oh, there's that Giovanni Andura once again making a crucial tackle on the edge of the D, and turning the ball over in Namibia's favor.
I tell you what, Trevor, in my day I used to go by the name Makalele because I quite styled my play around him, but I think there's someone else who holds that honor now.
He's taken over that title.
Giovanni Handura, Makalele role there, and he's been fantastic for the Namibian outfit.
So just going back to the penalty corner goal, you know, everybody's been saying, we know he goes to the left corner. Why does the goalie and the defenders not go there? Well, we just don't know where he's going to go. I mean, he's proved there once again, he's got them waxed.
Look, Trevor, that's a very good comment you make there, but South Africa in the box, and I'll get to you just with that now. Oh, what a shot from Lita Cry.
And sorry, with no room, eh? You know, I love it that a forward can just off of off of his toes, take a shot like that at the goals in such confined space.
For any of the coaches watching there, it's important to make sure that your players are able to sort out their feet as quickly as possible, and that's what Lita did there. One skip to the back and got the shot off. Yes, the thing with drag flicks now is that the players drag that ball for so long and they're waiting for the keeper to commit to one side, and then
releasing.
The keepers are reacting, and once you're reacting to a drag flick, you're always coming out second best.
So there, not only is he a good drag flicker, but what a defender. Under pressure, 3 Namibians putting pressure, and he gets the ball out of that tight situation. Bit of an infringement down the right flank. Namibia turned the ball over.
Yeah, and just back to Jaden Brook, I know we've been discussing him at length, but just any junior right back that is watching this game, wherever you're watching from, South Africa, Namibia, or all over Africa, that is the player to model your play around. You know, he's not shy to go up ahead of play.
So there's the hooter for the end of the first quarter. South Africa leading 2-0. 1-0. 2-0. Yeah, 2-0. At this stage, Namibia having the upper hand with possession, so and then taking advantage of their very few circle entries.
Yeah, look, in the end, it's, as we said, the detail is the devil's in the detail. South Africa more clinical in terms of their circle entries, and apologies to the viewers out there, the schematic on the screen being corrected. The score is 2-0 to South Africa.
So there's the highlights. The first goal, one entry into the circle, 1 goal. I think Rylan was maybe not sure whether he was going to slip it or take the shot, and he went for it and hit the back of the boards.
Absolutely, and that's again the secret in terms of just choosing your shot. It's easier to predict where a player might be if they're swinging that stick and hitting.
And here's the second goal, Jaden Brooker. The rundown on the first one. Really brave defending from Namibia.
Absolutely.
And then there's the retake. Captain Jaden Brooker going low. A little bit of a roundhouse, and unfortunately Namibia could not pull that one off.
Yeah, Rylan Bombosh there, he'll be disappointed with himself. But let's see, there's still time for Namibia to make a good account of themselves here, Trevor.
Yeah.
They have players like JP Britt.
So, as we go into the second quarter, welcome to the Junior Africa Cup Men's Final here in Windhoek, Namibia, and broadcast live by NBC. Penda, what an opportunity for these young players to play at this level.
Yeah, Trevor, and I remember coming through the junior ranks, it's always been a huge honor to represent your country, let alone being shown right for the rest of the continent and the rest of your countrymen to see you represent your country. So what an honor, and thank you to NBC again for bringing us this action.
So SA lead 2-0. They're not out of the out of the area of where you can sit back and just play hockey. If Namibia pull one back, then it's game on once again.
Look, the goal always swings, or the momentum always swings in the direction of the goal scorer. And so Namibia definitely not out of reach in this context. And they've got their captain here, JP Britt's on the ball. He is a game changer.
Yeah. If anybody can turn the game around, JP is the man to do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. As well as their number 10, Christian Duran, who I call my own version of Jamie Dwyer.
Too true. So the Namibians, I think this is the highest area they've been in now. They're into the last quarter, South Africans' defensive quarter, and Matthew Lusson trying to get a free hit out of the 5-yard rule. Young Abraham Graham just at the edge of the circle looking for it, but South Africa are posting up on their men, Penda.
Yeah, South Africa showing good discipline, just making sure that they don't overcommit, even though they're giving away a few free hits.
I think this is what's important, though, is international hockey, just like that, Matthew. Well done. Get the ball into the circle. That's where you create the opportunities.
Trevor, sorry to interrupt you. We were just talking about Den Bakker, but how about that for those 3D skills as a defender? That is absolutely sensational.
I rest my case, Penda. I rest my case.
Thank you to the Den Bakker family for gifting us this spectacle. What a performance!
Thank you, Brent and Bronwyn. So there's the pivot player for South Africa. You've just been on a coaching course. I didn't know the term, but Shaney and Jerry and Kiki have been using it back home. Damien not.
Yeah, look, the pivot player, as the term or as the role is, you're pivotal in terms of the direction that that game is flowing, and you control the speed and pace of the ball and gameplay. You know, so Damien not there, the co-captain for the South African outfit, doing a great job at being the pivot player, and the captain for the day is Ruben Neuhoff, the number 8 or number 9 for South Africa. I have to just confirm the number there.
So interesting. They've moved Dan Bucker to the right-hand side now, probably giving Captain Jaden Brooker a bit of a rest. So yeah, Jaden's not shy. Eh?
No, Jaden's not shy. And just a small correction there. You know, the South Africans have a lot of experience, and I believe that the captain for today is actually Dan Neuhoff. But as I was saying, just interchanging play between Damien Nott and Dan Neuhoff. So good pickup there from Tron.
Really good pickup, yeah.
Look, Trevor, anything that the Namibians can change for now?
I think just keep the pressure on, don't panic, but we have to start getting into that last quarter and creating, something out of it, Pender. You can't win games if you can't score goals, and they've been really good in their first and second quarter, but they need to get into that third and fourth quarter and get something out of it.
Absolutely. And unfortunately for hockey, you cannot score goals unless you get into the opponent's circle.
So the South Africans are 2-0 ahead, and it looks like they're starting to open up with the 3D skills now. They're not holding back and being patient anymore. They're backing themselves to try and break the Namibian defense in that last quarter.
Yeah, look, they're growing in confidence. That's a huge overhead. And
So there's the controversy of the overhead rule, Pender. The ball is played into the circle. The South African seemed like he was under it. The Namibian was close to him, didn't back off 5, and they get a short corner out of it.
Yeah, look, it's this overhead rule is very difficult for the defensive units, and it's something that we've been discussing at length. Almost puts the defender at a disadvantage, but of course, most hockey now, most of the rules are meant to make hockey more exciting for the viewers, try and get the opportunity for scoring goals a lot better.
So we're waiting for the injection by SA on the short corner. So this time it goes to number 13.
Yeah, Ross Montgomery. I've been making jokes with him, and I said he should tell Jaden Brooker to share the short corners.
Well, he got his chance, and unfortunately, I think there was a deflection off the Namibian player, so they get a retake. And once again, the Namibians run it down, but they play on. And I was looking at the spectators behind the goal. They seem to know what's going on, Penna, and they were very disgusted with the blow because they thought it was the back of the stick.
Look, I think maybe the first advantage there didn't go to the South Africans, and in the end, I think it was the correct decision from the umpire. Let's have a look here. Will it go to Brooker?
Oh, they played a variation this time. Again, Namibia just getting a stick to it and deflecting it out.
Yeah, South Africa making a meal of that push out there. It wasn't the cleanest, and unfortunately not allowing Ross Montgomery to show off his skills. I actually have seen him give off a drag flick, and he's got a good drag flick. Unfortunately, that push and the injection and the trap just not allowing him to show off what he can offer.
I think people don't realize that the injection and the stop are just as important as the drag flick.
I'd argue even more. It allows the flicker so much time at the edge of that castle to pick his spot and carry out his routine.
So Dan's really trying to chuck overheads.
Yeah, look, the men's game is filled with these aerial balls. It just allows you a different angle of attack, doesn't it, Trevor?
Absolutely. So there's NAM's captain, JP Brits, breaking 4 tackles, getting the advantage. The umpire not happy with something, calling the South Africans.
He's going into his pocket, and we've got our first green card of the game. It's the captain there, Dan Neuhoff.
So South Africa 1 player off. Namibia have the player advantage. They're in the crucial area. They've got to take advantage of this, Penna.
Absolutely, and from what we learned at that coaching course is you have to maximize your advantage. So maybe try and stretch the field and make the South Africans think twice about launching those huge attacks.
And with the extra man, you've got to put pressure on that back 3 now.
Absolutely, you've got a free man. You've got a free man to close them down. Huge overhead there.
It's massive.
I don't even think I can throw it that far. Huge. These players under 21, well, the competition is listed as an under 22 tournament on FIH, but most of them under 21, and just the skill that they have to execute certain techniques.
So Manny Lassen just trying to find space, sees nothing, troughs it back to the Namibian back 2. Sean Irwin trying to find space, using his pivot player Giovanni Handura, going wide to the flanks to Matthew Lassen, down the line. Unfortunately, the South Africans intercept once again.
Yeah, and once again, just look at that. Jaden Brooker not shy to step ahead of that ball and step ahead of his man to win territory, but also possession for his country. I remember one of the first games I watched him play, Trevor. He launched a counter-attack and found himself in the right forward area, and just shows for any of the junior players watching there, just because you are a defender does not reserve you to staying within your own zone 1.
Yeah, I think the game has changed so much that you don't have, like in the old days, these set defenders. You know?
Absolutely.
You've got these fast strikers playing against you. You need guys with pace at the back.
Absolutely.
So Tommy Taran has the ball, looking for pivot players. Giovanni Andura trying to break tackles. Unfortunately, gets picked off.
That Jamie Seal there with a huge steal.
Oh, there's a one-handed dribble run down the baseline and forcing the shorty.
That is just too good. That is just too good.
I see Sean Owens arguing with the umpire, deliberating with him that maybe it went out the back line. But he was right there, so he's adamant. Short corner for South Africa.
Yeah, there's not much in it, Trevor. I mean, that run there from Carlon Mentuf, the number 10 for South Africa, incredible. And once again, just that change in speed, Trevor. You go from a 50% running speed, and when you get into the 23, you accelerate, and it is difficult to contest against as a defender.
So injector will be Brett Horn. Oh my goodness, Penna. This man cannot be stopped.
He's lethal.
Even if you know it's going there, it cannot be stopped.
He is lethal. And I do not want to imply anything, but what is his gymming routine? Just look at him. He is a unit. Phew. A bullet. There's no chance. Goalkeeper reacts once the ball has hit the back of the net. It is just too quick.
That drag is going through the goalkeeper virtually, Penna.
Unbelievable.
Anyway. So South Africa lead 3-0 with 6 minutes to go. They're now back to full strength, 11v11. Oh, there's an open man in the circle with the overhead. A little bit scrappy, but Namibia managed to turn the ball over. JP Brits takes a quick self-play, and off Namibia go. Owen Hatton on the ball, down the line. Unfortunately, just too much for Christian Durant.
Yeah, unfortunately, just unable to find a stick there, which at this level, when you're on a counter-attack, you need to find a stick. You need to maintain that momentum.
It's about those connections. So there we are, 7 shots to 0, South Africa lead. Of the 7 they've scored 3, 9 circle penetrations, Pena, and 0 to Namibia.
Just shows the just look at that, they're just moving the ball so well. And it's again one of those things that we're talking about, the way South Africa are able to just change the pace of the game. You know, they went from sitting low, and now they're back at it again, right in the face of the Namibians. Hatton overcommitting himself on the tackle there.
So South Africa quite happy to play the ball down the flank, trough it round the back, Pena, and then wait for that opening.
Absolutely, and maybe just showing the difference in terms of experience and game management, knowing when to use your moments and up the intensity and when to score.
South Africa in the circle. There's 2 big saves by Ryland Bombosh.
He's done well there.
Owen Hatton clears the ball, but unfortunately South Africa get the ball back again. They're now troughing with a 4-back Pena, so they're really stretching the Namibian attack up front.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy night for those Namibian defenders. South Africa have come with some intent.
Sean Irwin making a crucial tackle once again. But again, it's just that last pass, that connection that you need to really make something out of it.
Yeah, and you could see what it meant to him. He was quite frustrated with himself as well. Sean Irwin plying his trade in the UK.
Yeah. So, for the viewers that have just joined us, you are watching the Junior Africa Cup men's final, South Africa versus Namibia. The score is 3-0 to South Africa, and we have 4 minutes to play in the second quarter. Pena, the coaches must be hoping for that half-time to come so that they can hopefully strategize and get something to the players to be able to turn this game around.
Absolutely, and especially the Namibia outfit. I mean, they don't lack the quality, so the coaches are just hoping that they don't increase the lead now and make the task a bit more difficult to achieve.
That was an interesting technique there, Pena.
It wasn't.
I've seen players dribble with one hand. I've never seen players shoot with one hand.
Look, we can call him, that's Matthew De Oliveira, we can call him the one-armed bandit from now on. Trying to steal a goal, but unfortunately not able to execute. Nonetheless, he's been a great performer for his country, just not coming off with that skill execution. Matthew De Oliveira. And it's good improvisation in the end. You know, you have to reward those off the ball thinking. You know, you're caught in a quick situation. Goalkeeper's probably not set yet, and you want to catch him off guard.
Matthew is the brother of Danny De Oliveira, the South African indoor hockey player.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look, there's
so it's in the family.
It's a lot of family links. Does Dan have any siblings that play hockey?
He does. His sister is played at the World Cup now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I know he's got a little brother, and I used to watch him on the side of the field, and I think he's going to have huge potential as well.
Absolutely. So once again, it's a lot easier to get into a sport with an older sibling, and we discussed it the other day. South Africa just being patient, troughing that ball and working the Namibian defensive line.
So there's Matthew De Oliveira attacking the circle. Sean Irwin now has the ball under control. It's under a lot of pressure from Matthew. Manages to get out and turns it over. And what I love about Sean, he loves to get the crowd going, Peter.
Absolutely. He works the crowd very well, and he feeds off that energy. So the Namibians hoping that they can use the energy of the spectators here at the Dave and Trusco Hockey Stadium just to get one back and change the momentum of this game.
So with 2 minutes to go, Pena, Namibia just don't have a solution to the South African press right now.
Look, Trevor, in the end, the experience seeming to go on show here. The South Africans have quite a few players who've represented their country at national level, and in the end might be the difference between the two teams. And Namibia just need to try and find a solution to their problem. It's what you want to encourage your players to do as well as a coach. You know, figure that out for yourself as well on the field. You can't depend on the coach the whole time. You know, you're playing the field and you're playing the game, and you need to be able to come up with a solution. nothing in that, but the umpire just saying some barging.
Damien not on the ball. Plays it across the face of the 25 to Dan Dembaka. Off Damien goes, running through, playing it wide, down the flank, and off South Africa go once again. Down the flank, popping the ball, 3D into the circle, lifted into the circle.
Nothing coming off it. It's interesting to see Jamie Seal now switching flanks, because he's been playing on the right-hand side. Tactical decision, Trevor, or just resting?
No, I think it's tactical. I think South Africa are looking at just breaking the ice a little. As we go into half-time, Penda, South Africa lead 3-0. And I think they'll be looking at, doing something creative to change the game up a little bit.
Absolutely. But Namibia not out of it, Trevor?
No, never out. Not in hockey, Penna. So one goal can change the whole game, So coming into the second half, if they get one goal back, then it's game on once again.
Let's go. Let's see what the Namibian men's team can do.
So to the viewers that might have just joined us, you are watching the Junior Africa Cup men's final here in Windhoek, Namibia, brought to you by NBC Live. We'll be watching the highlights of the second quarter, of the first half. And there's the first goal by South Africa. Beautiful 2v1 down the line, and a great slap shot at the goal to put South Africa 1-0 ahead.
Really made them pay for their lax defending there. And again, just opting to go for a slap shot instead of a massive swing.
South Africa's heads were up a little bit, so they went and put a lot of pressure on the Namibians. Got a short corner. The first one was well run down by the Namibians, but unfortunately on the retake, there's our man.
Look, there's our man again. Look, Jaden Brooker. And if you look at this second run out there, not as quick for the Namibians. I think probably the reaction time's a bit not as good. Look at that. You can see the difference in the first run out. They were right at the top of that castle, as opposed to the second one. They were more at the T-point. Do
you think it could be, running down and taking a knock like that on the first one? I would also probably slow down a little bit, Ben.
Look, it's often tactical that look at the skill from Dan Barker. Just look, unbelievable. He's their centre back, by the way.
This is your anchor man, your conductor, and he's 3D'ing the opposition's forwards.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Brett Horn trying to find something, but the deflection is actually from a South African stick, and there's the goal again by Jaden Brooker. Oh, rocket. Look, in the end, this is something that we discuss. The first flick is just a tester to see the running patterns and also to make them know what's coming at you.
So there's the stats: possession 63-37. South Africa lead. 11 circle penetrations to Namibia's 0. 9 shots on goal. Namibia 0. 3 goals. 3-0 is the goals. 5 penalty corners, of which they got 2 out of it. And only one sort of lax little card. That's the picture of the game right now, Pen. The first half is really about possession. South Africa has put pressure on Namibia, got the circle penetrations, and Namibia hasn't had an answer to that attack.
They've not had an answer, however, as we say, they're not out of it just yet. Namibia still have within their ranks JP Brits, their captain, Owen Hatton, Christian Duran, Giovanni Handura, Ludwig van Rooyen, all of these players who can turn the things around for them. Yeah, so Trevor, as you can see there, I'm not sure if you managed to catch the Egypt-Kenya game. That was definitely the game of the day. Went all the way to showdowns, and you saw what it meant to the Egyptians, because the Kenyans really had them.
It was such a big game, Penna. That was, a spot at the World Cup. So both teams were really playing their hearts out, and it's sad to see someone that gets knocked out, but there has to be a winner, and Egypt stood up to the task and will be going to the World Cup.
Absolutely. And Uganda losing to Zimbabwe there, making it for a Southern African affair for the representation. However, Egypt putting their hand up to represent North African hockey.
So Zimbabwe ladies will be representing Africa at the World Cup, thanks to their 6-1 win over Uganda. The women's final, Penda, I missed that game. I see South Africa won 5-0.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Namibian women just did not turn up fully to that one either. In the end, a comfortable win by South Africa. However, a huge performance from their number 17, Mokoena. She was a live wire. If you were a bomb diffuser, you wouldn't want to touch that one. That wire, boom, it will set it off. She was live.
Awesome. And then, to the viewers, you're watching the men's final at halftime. It's 3-0 to South Africa. At this stage, as you say, Pena, it's not doom and gloom for Namibia. You know, you need to come out now into the second half with tactics that can get you at least some circle penetrations, maybe a short corner or two, and one goal can bring you back into the game. Absolutely,
all to work for in the second half. But once again, Namibia do have those players in their ranks to bring this ball back. All right, so we'll be going off for a break, and we'll see you for the second half after the break.
We are double the trouble and double the speed. Join us, your hosts, as we take you on the ultimate ride through the world of high-performance cars. From the latest models to classic machines, and from racing cars to the muddy gravel of Namibia. This is Twin Turbo, coming soon to NBC TV.
So welcome back to the Junior Africa Cup men's final, South Africa versus Namibia. The score at halftime is 3-0 to South Africa. Penda?
Yeah, Trevor, all to play for here for the Namibians. They really need to come out punching in the second half of the game, Trevor. Pull one back early, change the momentum of the game.
Yeah, I think, you know what, both teams have qualified for the World Cup. There's nothing really to play for other than pride. And this is an opportunity for Namibia to show that they can contend against number one in Africa and take that to the World Cup.
Absolutely, bragging rights at stake here. And having seen your team in the indoor starting to assert their own dominance over the South Africans, I will tell you, it always feels good when you beat someone that has been beating you for so long. So definitely the Namibian boys not going to lie down.
No. The story of the tournament has been that Namibia has got better as the game has progressed. So I've seen a few of the games where the third to the last quarter, they've actually stepped up their game and got a few more goals. So we could see a good comeback in the second half.
Absolutely, and if there's anyone who can do it, is that man on your screen there for Namibia, number 10, Christian Duran. He can definitely grab a game and change it for you.
So we're waiting for the pushback. South Africa have the ball. I don't know. You probably know Christian Duran. His dad, Christu Duran, is the assistant coach for the ladies team that have also now qualified.
Yeah, look, Christu has done a fantastic job with the women's team. He should be proud of himself with the girls managing to qualify for the Junior World Cup. we once again, encourage all sponsors for any of the teams that have qualified. Hockey is not a cheap sport. All the corporate companies out there that are listening, wherever you are listening from on the continent, we encourage you to get involved in sports here in Namibian hockey, South African hockey, Zimbabwean hockey. Make sure that we send our teams with enough preparation.
So they're the spectators showing signs, and writing signs for their fellow players on the park. But Penda, you know what? The ladies team, compliments to Cedric McCarthy and his management team and his assistant coach Christou. They did a really good job of the Namibian ladies team. When you play South Africa, it's always going to be a tough ask, but they were very consistent, and they really showed the potential they have during the course of the whole tournament.
Absolutely, and for most part, they probably just took that game now as part of the preparation game for the Junior World Cup.
Absolutely.
Bragging rights at stake, but again, it's the big picture, Trevor.
So it looks like Namibia are going to put a very hard press on South Africa as they played the ball around the back, but South Africa managed to keep possession. They attack the circle. There's a pop into a shot at goal, and Lyle Brace has made a save for Namibia.
Ushered that ball out of the dangerous area, didn't concede a short corner, and he's done well there on that save.
Yeah. Well, big drive down the baseline by South Africa, but unfortunately turned over. Namibia will take a quick 16. Tommy Taron gets it to key playmaker JP Brits down the flank, and Namibia are attacking into the last quarter. Unfortunately, Christian Duran loses the ball, and South Africa get possession once again. So Lyle Brace coming on for Ryland Bombosch now in the second half. That's been the story of the week. But in the opening minute of the game, he makes a big save for Namibia.
Yeah, look, and as I was saying earlier with Sune Wittmann, it's always good to see that the coaches have confidence in their goalkeepers and using them interchangeably and allowing them to also get game experience. Lyle, a scholar at St. George's College, of course, now playing against the school's rivals, Abram Graham. Abram Graham, a scholar at St. Paul's, so, enemies become friends.
So South Africans were driving down again, a one-handed drive down the line. Seems to be a new technique that I wonder if they're practicing it.
Yeah, look, it's definitely something that you want to use now in terms of international hockey. It allows you that gap, to protect the ball between the covering defender. It just allows you a further space between the ball and the defender. So
big stretch.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know the forwards use it as they're going past defenders just to stretch the ball ahead of them, to get that advantage. So but never one-handed.
Absolutely. That is a technique.
So South Africa's Dan Dembaka once again turning the ball over. It looks like they've put him as the pivot man for SA this half.
Yeah, look, Trevor, interchangeable once again. So Dan Dembaka just swapping with Dan Neuhoff, the captain, and showing good experience there to just win the ball for South Africa.
I won't be surprised if we see him as the striker in the last quarter, Penda.
Test out his 3D skills.
So there's JP Brits. He's just let the ball go a little bit, but we retain possession. There's a big drive.
It looks that's the correct call. It looks like a harsh off the ball tackle there.
Yeah, there's a big yellow for the South African number 10 Mentor.
Yeah, in fact, I was just about to say that JP was unlucky not to get a call in his favor because he seemed to have been sandwiched by the South Africans. Well. But advantage was played. Good advantage from our Zimbabwean umpire, Munashe. And in the end, Namibia broke into the 23 and won a short corner. Let's see what they can do, Trevor.
Yeah, so with 12 minutes to go, South Africa lead 3-0. Namibia have their first real circle penetration. And now their short corner, so they need to get this on the board, Penda. Yeah,
they're gonna ask probably Jack Fourie or Owen Hatton. Let's see, is it? No, it's the captain.
Yeah, Sean Owen, the injector. Oh,
save! What? Come on, Dan Dillon, take a bow, son.
Penda, what a great drag flick. but equaled by a great save.
Dan Dillon, take a bow, son. That was solid onto the stick there. There was nothing. He caught that straight on. And I was just saying, you know, it's so difficult for the goalkeepers when your team is so dominant to show your skills. You know, goalkeeper of the tournament awards cycling around, but it's so difficult to show your skills. But what a save there by Dan Dillon.
So the umpire had to call two players together, one South African, one Namibian. It seems like the tempers are getting a little bit heated now, rightfully so. It's now into the third quarter of the game. And Namibia troughing the ball deep, trying to get a circle entry off of a South African stick, and they will now get a free hit just on the right flank.
Yeah, look, Trevor, it is men's hockey. You know, testosterone gets involved, and this is probably what makes men's hockey so much faster and sometimes so much more intense. You know, the boys really get stuck in there.
So South Africa have the ball in the first quarter, under pressure from the Namibians, and Namibia wins the ball over, self-play, into the circle, and turned over by South Africa and run out into the second quarter.
Yeah, you know, sometimes, as I was saying, testosterone is good for the speed of the game, but the discipline sometimes gets in the way, isn't it?
Yeah, I think both teams have to be careful. You don't want to go a man down now at such a crucial stage of the game, Penda.
Absolutely. Just some visuals of the spectators there. They came out to support the country.
So, viewers, you're watching the Junior Africa Cup men's final here in Windhoek, Namibia, broadcast by NBC Live. The score is 3-0 to South Africa with 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. South Africa have the ball deep into their half. They start attacking now into the Namibian half.
Oh, that's
great running by the captain.
Very good running. Offloads it.
Offloads. Picked up on the baseline in the circle, looking for a foot. And an obstruction on the captain, JP Brits.
Look, Trevor, just with the Namibian overheads, I feel that they've been playing it too vertical. You know, sometimes a diagonal ball would probably help you from going from ball side to help side. And when you're playing that ball into the channel, it's bound to be a turnover of some sort.
Yeah, I think the important thing always is it doesn't matter what you do, Pin, as long as you keep possession of the ball, you know. So there's attack by South Africa. Great tackle at the back once again by that man, Sean Irwin.
He's been brilliant for them in the back line.
Oh, another hard tackle on the Namibian on the sideline. Captain JP Britt steps up, self-plays. But again, big blockade by the South Africans, having to trough the ball at the back and switch to the help side.
Look at that interception. Brilliant from Damien Knott. Yeah, very busy from the touchline. The South Africans not relenting.
So we got some of the youngsters on, the Namibian youngsters, James Diacha, and Abraham Graham.
That is. I mean, look, honestly, you're thinking that surely that's within the 23.
That could have been a short corner.
If you're going to give a yellow card in the 23 area, surely, but Sachin there with another yellow card, and okay, the umpire saying that it was just outside.
Fortunately for South Africa. So Namibia have the ball. South Africa a man down. Sachin Padiache with the yellow card. 8 minutes to go. South Africa lead 3-2. Namibia on the ball. They have the one-man advantage. They need to take the advantage of this penalty, put pressure on South Africa, and try get something out of it.
Absolutely, not much else to lose. The game is running away. You need to take advantage of the small chances that you get.
Well, there's that James with his 3D hockey trying to get into the circle. Bit of an infringement just outside. Namibia retain the ball.
Surely not 5. Surely Brett Horn wasn't 5 there. And,
he wasn't. I think Gerrard should have just run straight at him, but instead he took the ball wide, and maybe that gave him an extra yard, you know. Anyway, Brett turns it over. Jaden Brooker has the ball in the right flank. Small overhead into free space, and off the South Africans go towards the Namibian quarter.
That is the difference in terms of the use of the area balls. The balls are played into space instead of into crowded areas where there's the potential for turnover.
So South Africa into the circle. There's a shot on goal.
Short corner, South Africa. That looked like it struck a foot there for the Namibians. Look, Trevor, we were giving huge shout-outs to the backers, but how about the Namibian families also there? The Philanders, the Mybergs, the Fouries, the Rowls, the Kutsias, you know, lots of hockey-playing families here in the Namibian field.
Yeah, absolutely. We are a small community, Penda, so, you know, if one of them plays hockey, everybody has to play hockey.
Reduce your carbon footprint.
So South Africa to inject on their short corner. The umpire not happy with one of the Namibians.
I think he's bleeding.
I
think it's because of the bleeding, so they just want him to
take a bloodbath.
Yes. Well, Namibia, South Africa with the potential to make this match a bloodbath, Trevor. But let's see what Lyles Brace can do on this short corner. Oh, strong running there from the Namibians.
Yeah, once again, pin a body on the line.
Look, I feel like Lyles actually committed himself a bit too early to the... he just shifted to the post there, trying to predict where Brooker will put it. And that is trouble because he's got the skill to change direction at the very end.
So penalty corners, 5 to South Africa, 1 to Namibia. The shots on goal, 11 to SA, 1 to Namibia. We'll just watch the injection. And there it is, run down once again by Abraham, Graham and team.
Yeah, much stronger running there from the Namibians. That's actually what Bombosh would have wanted for the first half. You know, much in front of him, that screen. So good running there from the Namibians this time around. That's another reward actually. Look, hopefully that the Namibians have just been given time because they had to remove the short corner equipment.
Once again, Penna, the Namibians are holding out, running the ball down, although they're giving retakes. They're not conceding goals off of this one.
Yeah, look, Myberg just asking whether that first shot was not dangerous. You know, in hockey, the first shot needs to be within safe playing distance. But let's see.
So the ball was actually, looked like it was going outside the post. Unfortunately, caught the Namibian player's foot and was played into the goals, and it was at a safe height.
Yeah, it was a safe height. And that man, Ross Montgomery, I did say that he's got a good flick on him, able to get on the scoreboard, and huge smile on his face.
But I think he noticed what we noticed, Penda. Lyle shifted all the way to the right post, opened up his left post, and Ross took advantage of that.
Yeah, the captain there, JP Bridge, would be a bit disappointed to let that one in off the post. His positioning was good, but just couldn't keep that one out. James De Jager on the ball for Namibia.
So, circle penetrations, 15 to South Africa, 3 to Namibia. I think that's the story of the game right now. 61% possession to South Africa. They're starting to dominate the game now, Penna, and it could be that they're taking the game away from Namibia.
Yeah, Aish, as one would say, Aish. It's looking like the game is running away from the Namibians. However, they should not be too despondent. They've held a good account of themselves throughout this tournament. Lassen on the ball for Namibia.
So there was a great, move by JP Brits to slap that ball to the outside.
Yeah, look, just that one-time offload, and to be fair, it's just good awareness from JP Brits. Probably just playing with a head on the swivel, or what they call rubbernecking. Always turning, scanning to see where his teammates are.
So South Africa happy to trough the 3 back. Even though the Namibians are putting pressure, I don't think it's enough pressure on South Africa. So they're able to patiently trough it, going for the overhead, picked up by the Namibian, Darren Enslin.
Yeah, look, in the end, it's just what we were saying. Namibia had the one-man advantage, and you'd think that now with the score at 4-0, you've got nothing else to lose. You really want to take the game to them, make them a bit uncomfortable in the game, and see how they respond to the pressure.
One thing we do know, Pen, and the Namibians won't sit back. They will continue fighting to the end. And if they can pull one back, it could set them up again for a comeback.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That ball, just an isolated ball to Graham, and he was lucky to win the free hit there for Namibia. If you see the difference between South Africa when they lead that counter-attack, there's so many more options, whereas Graham was isolated there, Trevor.
He was Pen.
Crash ball into the circle.
What a great ball. What a great ball. Played to Owen Hatton, just left of the post, and was unable to put it in the back of the net.
Narrow. I'd put my money and my house on that, and I would have lost it. But usually Hatton finds the goal, and the goalkeeper did well just to close down and smother the play there. But good positioning there from Hatton to pick up that long ball.
So that has been the best chance that Namibia's had tonight, and that should have been in the back of the net.
By far, should have been. Probably looking to do what Mokoena did earlier today, get around that goalkeeper and just roll it in.
He could have walked at him.
Yeah. Sean, pick that out. Pick that out, Trevor.
So again, Penda, there's the South African waiting under the ball. The Namibian actually moved to the ball, and the umpire allowed play to go on. I'm very confused.
Yeah, look, it's interpretation, and maybe.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the game. South Africans turn the ball over, start attacking the Namibian half.
Oh, Jamie Steele.
There's the ball that will go cross, intercepted by the Namibian, and turnover.
Yeah, good work there by Darren. Just strong on the ball, making sure that he doesn't lose out on possession there against number 3 for South Africa, Bata.
So with 2 minutes to go, South Africa lead 4-0. Namibia is really trying to find an answer to get something out of it, Penda.
Oh my goodness, we just saw some incredible skill by Matthew Lassen. Took out 2 or 3 players there with that move. Unbelievable. Good hands there from Matthew Lassen. Just shifted his stick one way and sent the player going.
Yeah, really good skill, Penda.
Some good action there for our spectators, both at the stadium and wherever you're watching at home.
So Namibia deep in the South African quarter. Unfortunately, Matthew Lassen.
It's off a South African stick there. I think.
The deflection.
Yeah, it's off a South African stick. But anyway, back to the action, as you say.
Yeah, so to get a little bit loud now, Pena. They're starting to realize they need to get behind their team.
Of course.
South Africa just bashing away at the door, just playing what they've been doing the whole week.
Of course.
And the Namibians need to try and turn the ball over and get something out of it.
Yeah, looks like there's going to be a card for Darren Ensland there. Maybe one too many fouls, one too many professional fouls.
Yeah.
So 2 minutes in the sin bin for Darren. Maybe he catches breath.
So one-man advantage to South Africa as we go into the last minute of the third quarter. Sean Owen there by Lita Cry. Unfortunately, it goes Sean's way.
Yeah, look, Lita just making that dangerous, lifting the ball too high, and Sean was smart to just get in the face. Ooh, that's a interesting call.
I think he was blown for shielding, but yeah.
Another one of those subjective calls, right? Another one of those subjective calls. Let's see what the South Africans do on this counter-attack.
It's their last chance now, circle entry to get a shorty or something out of it. And there goes the final hooter for the end of the third quarter. South Africa 4, Namibia 0. Pena, as we go into the last quarter, the South Africans look comfortable. I don't think they'll change much. It's the Namibians that really now need to pull something out of the box.
Yeah, look, the game on the score sheet is potentially gone. So you've got nothing to lose. You know, get out in the fourth quarter, all guns blazing. Try and get one goal back. Try and change the momentum, and see how you go.
So there's the highlights. The Namibians going on attack. There's the card.
Oh. Yeah, not a nice tackle there.
Yeah,
not a nice
and
tackle.
That really looked inside the 25.
Yeah.
There goes JP Brith, but what a great save by the South African goalie.
And the thing is, for any junior goalkeeper there, just watch the goalkeeper here, Dan Dillon, kept his eye on the ball all the way, even as he's striking out of play, always followed the ball. That was absolutely brilliant.
As I said, a great drag flick, but bettered by a great save.
Absolutely. And just once again, you can see Jaden Brooker offloading the ball and continuing his forward running. Here we go. Here's a goal by Ross Montgomery. Yeah, JP Brits just disappointed there.
And there's the unfortunate
just
goal.
Squeezing into the post there. Just position. He picked that.
But well done to Ross. He read the goalie moving to the opposite post. He had a lot of daylight on the right-hand side. Unfortunately, came off the Namibian foot into the back of the net.
Yeah, no, he picked his spot very well, and that was just a chance for Owen Hatton. Once again, just coming off a South African stick there.
So, waiting for the pushback. If you've just joined us, viewers, it's the Junior Africa Cup final. South Africa men versus Namibia. South Africa lead 4-0. We go into the last quarter. What do you think the Namibian coaches would have done, to get their team back on track?
Look, get the attacking players in your outfit on the field. Tell them to force up high. Tell them to open up this the first 5 minutes of this quarter, running fast, running hard at the South Africans. Get a goal back and see how the game goes.
All right. So there's an overhead. Sean did good to get under it and get turn the ball over in his favour.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not in a hurry to get the game started.
Yeah, look, Trevor, once again, you just want to start the first 5 minutes of the final quarter of the game with a high intensity.
Sorry, Pena, sorry to interrupt. Giovanni's skills once again. He's blowing me away.
He's so cool. He's so cool on the ball, and he can be pressed by how many players, but he'll just find a pocket to get out of it.
Skill way above his age grade.
Absolutely.
So South Africa troughing the ball once again at the back, 3 back, trying to work the ball to their pivot players in the middle. Otherwise, if not, it goes down the flank. And there's the attack, turnaround, goes all the way back to that man, Dan Baka. And he's happy to go wide. Unfortunate mistake. Namibia now have the advantage of the ball going into the South African second half.
Of course, Giovanni Handura, son of former senior women's coach Erwin Handura. So his father would be surely in the midst here and proud of his son's performance.
And his older brother Dalron, not a bad player himself.
So shout out to the Honduras.
So there's an attack by South Africa into the circle, off of the Namibian stick, and we have a short corner to South Africa.
Yeah. Let's see what the South African battery can do with the short corner.
So I think this will be crucial for Namibia to pull out a pin if they want to stay in the game. If South Africa put this away, I think we could probably call it a day. But
Yeah, look, 5-0 against this South African outfit, then you're really reaching to say that they can come back from this. And it's important that the Namibian runners do as they've been doing before, strong running. Abram Graham, let's see what he can do.
Oh, there's a great save from Lyle Brace. He read that drag flick so well.
Yeah.
Gets a foot to it, and so Namibia have the ball.
And look, in the end, the goalkeeper probably forcing the South Africans to make a decision in terms of their shot.
So Giovanni gets the ball. He plays it back deep to JAC.
Yeah,
Played
good combination play.
There goes James JAC. He's going to back himself to run down that flank and take on the SA players. There's our man Christian Duran looking to break the... But the South Africans are just holding a brick wall in front of these players.
Surely a long corner there for the Namibians. That came off a stick.
It should have. And it is.
No, it is a long corner.
Oh, JP takes a quick free hit. Oh, South Africans were 5, turn it over, and now they start again. Just the connection missed. So Namibia still have the ball in the third quarter.
Look, South Africa is starting to make a few more mistakes. Unable to find some passes and some connections, which is uncharacteristic. Oh, 3D skills there.
Yeah, JP is not scared to take on the green and gold. Unfortunately, he turns the ball over. South Africa now on a 3-man attack. The Namibians rushing to get back. So South Africa have the ball just inside the Namibian last quarter, just outside the circle on the 5-yard line. They'll take a set piece, play it all the way out. They're drawing the Namibians out of the quarter, play it back in, big overhead.
Lita Cry wins it. Oh no, it's actually Matwala. That's Cry. That was Lita Cry on the shot there. Sorry, I confused you, Trevor.
No problem. But a great shot and a great save once again by Lyle Brace.
I think the South Africans just subtly celebrating on the bench right now. The game probably seems to be dead, but Tommy Tron has something else to say about it. Maybe I spoke too soon.
Oh, he said to JP, anything you can do, I can do better, and he proved it.
Great run there from the centre back of Namibia.
Namibia undoubtedly have the skill and the technical ability to take the South Africans on. It's just that they're not able to find those connections once they've eliminated players.
Absolutely, and once again it comes down to experience, the decision making that you get from the games or lack of games. You match it up against the South Africans who have a wealth of experience, and in the end the options that are available for those players who break through those lines.
JP Brits just outside the South African. Oh, crash ball through the circle. Unfortunately, not towards the goal. I think going wide, you're hoping someone gets a touch in.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you put it on the goal, it's on the goal at the risk that you might actually score something.
Yeah, look, and it creates more chaos when it's directly at the goal. Lots of players funneled into that hotline channel. So a lot more chaos for those defensive players, but in the end an easy ball for South Africa to see out.
So with 9 minutes to go, South Africa lead 4-0. You are watching the Junior Africa Cup men's final here in Windhoek, Namibia, and brought to you live by NBC Sport.
Yeah, huge shout out to NBC Sport once again for covering this tournament. They have been fantastic. Few hiccups. Everyone, I believe the viewers at home, wherever they were watching from, were able to keep up with the action here.
So Penda, the crowds, it's a full house out there tonight, for this final, which is nice to see, even though they're broadcasting the game live.
Yeah, look, and it shows that the desire and the interest in hockey is huge in Namibia. And once again, just encouraging all the all the sponsors to get on board and grow this game, because without sponsors, this game can't go where we want it to go.
This tournament.
Or this tournament, absolutely. So shout out to all the tournament sponsors.
So even at 4-0 down, Namibia continued to try and break the South African defence, but South Africa just holding fast at the back there. Dan Bakker, Brooker, they are really Padiachi. Those three have been a force to be reckoned in this tournament.
Look, they've been a solid defensive line, conceding minimal goals. Look at that play again. And holding true to the job, just making sure that they stick to the job. Huge overhead there.
Owen Atten on a drive. I like the way he broke into the middle of the field and didn't run down the flank, and was unfortunate not to get anything out of it.
Yeah.
But once again, Dan Bakker there and the back three are just holding their own.
Look, Trevor, one can even argue once again that point that we're making. Just not enough options or enough runners for the Namibian to pick a pass. He's forced with one-dimensional passing because that's the only option for him. But I'm sure they will. Oh, look at that, Brett Horn. What a turn from Brett Horn.
So Sean Owen overheads the ball to the flank. Currently the shots on goal, 14 to South Africa, 2 to Namibia. 19 circle penetrations to South Africa, and the story of the game, Namibia only 4 circle penetrations. Possession in favor of South Africa at 60%, over 40 to Namibia, and that is a reflection of why the score currently is sitting at 4-0. Penalty corners 8, South Africa and their barrage of drag flickers managed to put a couple away, and currently South Africa looking to take this game at 4-0.
Oh, look, South Africa have been comfortable. In the end, probably deserved winners as well of this competition, because they've been absolutely dominant.
They've been consistent the whole tournament, and this is a reflection of what they've done this week.
Absolutely. Look, some argy-bargy, it seems some argy-bargy on the field, and it looks like both players just asked to take a breather.
So both teams down to 10 players. South Africa get the ball into the circle, and Brett Horn just goes and looks for the short corner.
Easy, once again, experience all day. He knows where he is on the field, and he knows where his player is, and finds an easy foot.
And he knows that the barrage that are going to come up to take the drag flick are there.
This will be so daunting for the Namibian outfit. Ooh, looks like there might be an upgrade here because the player already had a green card. It might be for the South African. We'll wait for confirmation. Marlon Mentor might be. We'll just wait for confirmation there of who the card actually went to.
So we wait for the injection from Brett Horn. There's the double castle. Money's going to Jaden Brooker. No, it goes to Ross.
Puts it wide.
Unfortunately puts it wide.
Yeah, they were trying to find that pocket, and once again, I think Brace just forcing the castle to do something different, All right, just a confirmation on the screen there. Carlon Mentor with the yellow card.
And the Namibian is Gerard Meyerberg, who got the green card. So the South Africans have the ball. I think the Namibian body language is looking a little bit despondent now, Pena, with 5 minutes to go. It looks like they have given up. I know they're going to fight till the end, but they could maybe salvage a bit of pride by getting a goal or two and hopefully not conceding.
Absolutely. Look at that. But left open in the circle and just made them pay. Not too much that the goalkeeper could have done there. Bata has been absolutely lethal throughout this tournament as well.
And again, for all the kids back home watching, that's how you finish. Even though you get an opportunity like that, I've seen so many players miss, but look at this. Collects the ball and smashes it in the back of the net.
Look, and technically just hits the ball into the ground a little bit for the oncoming keeper to get a bit of lift. And one can again just say, probably just that experience, knowing what to do in those situations. Big smiles on the South African faces. They know that the job is done. Dan Dillon comes off now for Virasimo. Gianluca Virasimo for South Africa as the goalkeeper. And the game has probably been out of Namibia's reach now.
So Namibia had the pushback. Christian Durant passes it all the way back. They're 5-0 down against South Africa with 4 minutes to go. Yeah, I think South Africa are just going to play it out, Penda, but Namibia will keep fighting till the end in the hope that they can salvage a goal or two.
Look, in the end, just one for the spectators, one for the home crowd. Will always you'll know how the crowd will respond to that.
It would be like they've just won the final. Matthew Lusson on the ball, playing it back to Sean Irwin. Tommy Taron trying to do a one-touch.
Luckily, pays off for him.
Just rolls to his player. South Africa putting pressure on, man-to-man. Giovanni Andura has the ball, plays it out wide to Matthew Lusson. Gently attacking the sideline.
Yeah, just looking for his option.
Now he's deep into the South African quarter. JP Brits is going to take them on, but there's no one on the end, and the South African defenders play the foot and get the blow.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's been the story of the tournament for the Namibians, at least the story of this game. Not enough options in the circle.
Yeah, Pence, you called it earlier on, and we're doing everything right, and there's just that final connection is just not there. Yeah. Matthew de Oliveira takes the ball down the flank, confronted by Giovanni Andura, plays it back to Captain Dan. Switch to help side, big overhead into the pocket, and there one of those controversial calls once again.
Yeah, it should be in Namibians' favour. So the rule does allow for the interception, but maybe not enough consistency in how that has been blown. So Sean Owen for Namibia there, running in to intercept that ball and wins the call.
So it's not to take away, how the Namibians have played this week, Penda. I think they've had an extremely enormous. They've made history this week, but they're lacking a little bit of creativity right now, and we're not seeing it coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, unfortunately, it is a game where we're learning, but. One of the things that they should take pride in is once again that comment to say that they've been a surprise package. I mean, they beat Egypt, which was a huge surprise result, and have closed the gap in some sense with their more experienced counterparts.
Yeah, look, the pool game was 8-0, so they really have improved on that, and I think between now and going to the World Cup, they will just have to look at trying to close that gap on a team like South Africa.
Absolutely. Okay, Namibia now break into the circle. Another circle penetration. Just wide. I thought Fourie was going to poke that in. Good run from the Namibians. Trevor, who's been a stand-up player for you in this match?
I know the South Africans have scored 5 goals, but and I know Jaden Brooker has gone and put his drag flicks away, but Dan Denbacher has to be the player of the match.
Yeah, look, I couldn't agree with you more. He's been a huge force for the South African. And as we said, it's often unfortunate for players of his quality when your team is so dominant up front, you know. But he's been a general. The way he controlled the speed of the game, it's been fantastic.
So with half a minute to go, South Africa lead 5-0 in the final of the Junior Africa Cup here in Namibia. I think Namibia will continue trying to get that one goal, but South Africa will just play the clock out and be happy with the victory. Oh, there's an attack down the baseline, but South Africa turn it over and big overhead to play it out and release a little bit of pressure. But the clock is running out now. And there's the final hooter, Penda. South Africa winning the final of the Junior Africa Cup 5-0.
Yeah, look, not too much in it. The boys will be disappointed, of course, that they can't be crowned as the champions of African hockey, but they should also be proud. You know, they've just qualified for the Junior World Cup.
Absolutely. There's no disappointment in their performance at all. This was a good indicator of what they need to work on before the World Cup now. But they have closed the gap. They had really good performances against the rest of the African nations, and I believe they are the number 2 of the tournament, no doubt about it.
Yeah, one can argue, probably for now, the number 2 of African hockey. Look, we know that we've missed some of the giants of North African hockey, but we definitely believe that Namibia and South Africa have put a good account of Southern African hockey.
So as we finish off, we watch the highlights of the second half. And South Africa, the giants of Africa, the 1 ranked team going into this tournament, they've proven why they're the number 1 team.
Yeah, look, Trevor, in all categories, South Africa have really been dominating hockey, but once again, it goes to that experience. You know, South Africa have been competing in countless Olympics and countless Champions trophies and World Cups, and that experience is second to none. You know, it just creates a different types of competition within your ranks, because every player wants to perform at the highest stage, so everyone is going to do their best to make sure they're picked. It's good that the FIH and African Hockey have made available more spaces for African representation, and hopefully that will drive the competition on the continent even higher.
Absolutely. Well, looking back this week, Penda, this is the creme de la creme of the youth of Africa hockey. So, I look at the players that we've watched this whole week, and Africa's in a good place.
Look, Africa definitely in good hands, and not just from the South African contingent. I mean, we're looking at players like Richard Banda from Zambia, or even the Kenyan captain, Matthias Omwaka. He was a monster. Lita Cry, only 17 years old in the Namibian outfit. A few 17-year-olds as well. From the girls' side, Abby Rose, only 16, so African hockey is in good hands. Of course, the Zimbabwean captain, Elijah, she is a player to look out for.
Absolutely. So for the viewers that might have just joined us, this is the end of the game. South Africa beat Namibia in the final of the Junior Africa Cup 5-0. Looking at the stats, very one-sided affair, Penda, and that's why the outcome was a 5-0 victory. But 15 shots on goal, 21 penetrations, 8 penalty corners. That's a hard act to follow. Yeah,
a hard act to follow, but for the Namibians, once asking why it took them a whole 30 minutes to get into the game. Finally getting some shots at goal, some circle penetrations. If you remember, they didn't have any in the first half. So they came to the party, only came when the food was done.
Yeah, and you can't fault the Namibian defense. They actually have been quite solid the whole tournament. Unfortunately, they met their match in the South Africans, and something to work towards going, on the road to the World Cup.
Absolutely. And Trevor, just that screen there.
All right, so Zimbabwe ladies won the 3rd spot against Uganda 6-1, which means they've taken the 3rd spot to go to the World Cup. In the men's 3rd and 4th playoff, you can talk about this game, Penda. You watched it, but what a game.
Look, Trevor, it was a game of emotions. Egypt took the lead 1-0, then Kenya equalized. And then Egypt thought they were through and through again, taking the lead again, 2-1. However, Kenya said, not today, not so easily, and took it to the showdowns. However, the Egyptians proving to be a bit stronger. A lot of emotions, even in that showdown, Trevor.
Yeah. So in the two finals, South Africa men beating Namibia 5-0. South Africa ladies beating Namibia as well. Both had qualified already for the World Cup. So not much to play for, but bragging rights. And South Africa, the number one ranked country, came through with both the finals.
Yeah, look, in the end, once again, the experience is the one that was telling. But the Namibian teams should not be too despondent. They should hold their heads up. They've just qualified for the Junior World Cup, and they've been fantastic.
So from myself, Trevor Cormack, and my co-host,
me, Pendapala Namjebo.
We hope you've enjoyed this tournament as much as us, and we end off the Junior Africa Cup here in Windhoek, Namibia, broadcast live by NBC, and we thank you and look forward to the World Cup final.
Yeah, and that's a great comment. Thanks so much for having me, Trevor, and we'll take a break and then come back for the event ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Namibia versus South Africa, with South Africa winning that game 5 goals to 0. Allow me to congratulate our player of the match, that is Daniel Dan Baker. Thank you.